Thank you. Okay, on three, guys.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Hi. What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Be Uplifted. Hey. Ooh, I think it's a little special today, don't we?
I know. I see.
Yeah, I'm like, we got this fine ass person.
I know,
right here
like,
next
I'm
to us.
little-
Like,
Hey, Wendy's here too,
I'm
guys.
feeling a little shy.
Oh, you
my
weren't talking
God.
about me? Oh.
Yeah, so as you can see, we have a beautiful special guest here tonight. I'm going to pass the mic off to you so you can go ahead and introduce yourself really quick and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm known as PartyLikeAMotha on all social media platforms, Instagram, TikTok, Twitch. But my government name is Wendy. I am a DJ, but I'm also a mom of 3, and hence why my name is PartyLikeAMotha.
I like that.
Nice.
cute. I love
Super
that.
cute.
You know, it was funny because like I got your channel suggested to me through TikTok. I was like, that looks like Wendy.
When you were on TikTok?
This was a long time ago.
Oh, nice,
Yeah.
nice. I've actually had people from TikTok that had already been following me on TikTok that were on Twitch and recognized that I was on both without me telling them, oh, follow me on both. They were like, oh, she's also here. I don't know. You know, the government somehow knows who you follow. And then next thing you know,
Algorithms.
the algorithm just pops you up. You know what I
Yep.
mean?
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. Yep. But that's crazy. How long have you been DJing for?
Very, very long time.
Yeah, nice.
Many years ago. Definitely, I want to say a decade now. Yeah, a decade.
How did you get into DJing?
You know, I started as a go-go dancer, and I started doing a lot of music videos, videos with Soulja Boy, Neo, Chris Brown, and I was just getting into that industry. And then I started thinking about my future, like how long can I go dance, you know, and how long can I be like a video vixen? Like, let's be realistic here. I don't want to be like this 40-year-old that's still trying to be in the club scene as a go-go dancer. Not that there's anything against that, but for my goals, I didn't want that. So I was like, you know what? I should probably look into DJing. And I actually had a friend tell me, like, why don't you try to DJ? And I never really thought about DJing, and that's one of my biggest regrets, was not thinking about it earlier
Sooner.
when I was like a teenager or maybe my early 20s. And so my late 20s is when I started thinking about it, and I was like, you know what? Okay, I'll give it a try. I saved up as much as I could, and I was buying piece by piece. I think the first thing I bought was the turntables. And then I had no clue what I was supposed to do with it. And then I was like, wait, I need a mixer. And then somebody else said, well, you also need this, and you need a speaker, and you need that. And I'm like, okay. Oh, you need Serato, and you need a MacBook. And I'm like, okay. So finally, it took me a whole year to get all that stuff, guys. It took me a whole year to get everything down. And then one of the mixers, I bought an old mixer off Craigslist, and the guy who sold it to me was a DJ, and he was asking me questions like, "Oh, is this for you? Are you gonna DJ, or is this a gift?" And I was like, "No, I'm trying to learn how to DJ." And he's like, "Well, how are you gonna learn?" And I was like, I don't know yet. And he was like, well, I can give you lessons. And I was like, okay.
Nice.
And so once
Looking back, I bet you're just thinking, mm-hmm.
No, he was, you know what? I think he was trying to actually use me at the same time as, because he knew I worked in the nightclubs. And I think he was like, I'll help you if you help me get in type thing. And so, yeah. And then that's how it all like worked out.
That's awesome. That's really awesome. I remember those days too, like trying to get all equipment and fucking go searching through like Facebook and Craigslist and all that shit. So I feel you on that.
Now you have a warehouse of stuff.
I know.
Oh God, let's not talk about that. But yeah, so we have good. Yeah.
Now you just buy a controller.
Yeah, right?
And then you could be Queer Rich, who's not, it's a fake DJ.
Oh my gosh.
So you have a pretty big following on TikTok.
Yes.
How did you get into doing that? Making like the videos, the mom content?
You know, it was so random and unexpected. I never, ever was like, I want to download TikTok and become TikTok famous. Like that didn't even cross my mind. I didn't even know there was TikTok famous like people. My daughter my oldest at the time kept begging me like, Mom, I want a TikTok. Can you download TikTok on my phone? And I'm thinking, yeah, it's a kid app. Like, sure. So I download TikTok on the phone for her to use. And I'm posting her like little dance videos. She was 7 at the time. So I'm posting her little dance videos and literally was getting like 0 views, right? And I'm like, oh, my poor baby, how can I get more views for my daughter? So I'm telling everybody on Facebook, on Instagram, hey, follow my daughter's TikTok, blah, 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 blah. But nobody at the time, like, even though TikTok was big at that time, it wasn't as big as it is now.
Yeah.
So nobody was following me, and I was just, or following my daughter, I should say. And I was like, okay, whatever. So 2 months later was the pandemic, right? So I decided, let me just look at this TikTok. I'm scrolling because I'm like, maybe if I understand the app, I can figure out how we can get views for my daughter. And I'm scrolling and I start seeing a lot of adult stuff. And I'm like, this isn't kid friendly, actually. Like, kids should not be on here at all. And so I completely deleted her as like the person using it because I'm like, yeah, I'm not about this. But I was entertained by what I was seeing for me, though, right? So then I started posting. I started posting random mom shit that I didn't think was. I never thought, oh, this is gonna take off. I just legit was being bored because we had nothing else to do in the fucking houses when everything was shut down. I was like, there's nothing else to do. I'm just gonna do this little video. And out of nowhere, one video got like a lot of views, and I was like, oh, wow, that's crazy. And I just kept posting more and more. And next thing you know, I was going like viral left and right. And it was so bizarre because that was never my intention, like ever, ever, ever. And it just fucking happened. And I was like, okay, wow, we can do this now. Like, I'll focus more on that, and yeah, that's how it started.
Dang, you just a boss babe from the start.
I mean, I'm just saying, not everybody can be a content creator.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Well, it was good that you recognized it and then you jumped on it.
Exactly.
So that's why that's why I consider you, like, everybody that's been to my channel, I always call you my boss.
Yes, he does. He does call me that.
Yeah. Because you're a boss babe.
I mean, I am bossy. I will say I'm bossy. I don't want to say I'm a boss babe, but I am bossy. I try to not be so bossy, okay? But it's just in my nature, okay? I was meant to be a boss.
So, okay,
right,
so that's actually the
segue.
question for today. What's the difference between a boss babe and a bossy
Babe.
babe? Yeah.
Okay. A bossy, B-I-T-C-H? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah.
Just say it.
I mean, a boss babe, boss bitch is somebody that is obviously a boss when it comes to maybe being a breadwinner, having your own business, or just being very independent. That's what I consider a boss babe, a boss bitch. That's what I consider a boss. Somebody that's independent, a woman that doesn't depend on a man, a woman that makes shit happen regardless. That's what I want to say. Now, someone that's bossy, and I want to say I'm a little bit of both, probably more bossy, but that's just in my nature. Also because I'm a mom, and us moms got to be bossy. You know what I mean? And so because I am a mom of 3 small children, I'm used to calling the fucking shots like, no, do this, do that. You do what I say. You listen to mommy, blah, 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 blah.
I'll say this, you're bossy. But the fact that you can back everything up and you get shit done, that's what makes you a boss babe.
Thank you. I will say I am a little bit of both, but if I have to be very honest with myself, I know I'm a little bossy, but I don't even tend to be bossy. A lot of my best friends are like, oh, you're such a boss. You're so bossy. You're so mean. You like to boss people around. And I'm like, no, I'm not. Just because I'm being direct doesn't mean I'm being bossy or being a bitch. I'm being direct. I'm just keeping it 100% real. So if you want to take realness as bossy, that's on you. But I feel like I'm saying it respectfully. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I'm like, I ain't got time for this shit. What the fuck?
So
Shut
if you
the
guys,
fuck up. Like,
if you guys are following Party Like a Mother on Twitch, on Friday, she's having a party that's we're having an intervention for her that's disguised as one of her birthday parties.
They think they're going to have an intervention with me, but there ain't going to be no fucking intervention, okay? Because again, some of my friends are sensitive, and I tell them, I'm like, I think you're just being sensitive. I'm not trying to hurt your feelings. I'm just being very direct, okay? And there's so many scenarios that we can bring up right now, but I don't want to do that to you guys. I don't want to bring up a bunch of story time on why I'm not being a bossy bitch. It's more me just being 100% real with my friends. And I know my friends respect that because they tell me all the time, like, that's the number one thing they'll tell me is like, you're so real. If I want to know the truth, I know that I can come to you and you will be real with me and authentic. And I mean, that's just me as a person. I keep it so real with my kids. I don't sugarcoat anything with my children. You know, I'm not one of those parents that's like, everybody's a winner, or you're the best and you're so good. I tell my kids exactly how it is. Like the other day, my middle child, she's in softball and she was at the top and now she's at the bottom. And, you know, she was like, oh, well, I hit off the pitcher at this last game she had on Sunday. And I was like, okay, I'm very proud that you hit off the pitcher, but I'm going to be honest with you. There's other girls out there that are hitting off the pitcher and not the coach pitch, and you need to be one of those girls. So you went from the top to the bottom, and that's just me being honest with you. Of course, she started crying and is like, why would you say that? And I'm like, because I have to be honest with you. I'm not going to tell you like, oh yes, you're the best, you're doing so good, when you're not doing so good, because to me, for me, I feel like I'm setting you up for failure if I'm telling you you're one of the best when you're not.
100%.
You know what I mean?
Thank you.
I'm not trying to set my children up for failure because I don't want them to go in the real world and be fucking shocked like, oh shit, like I'm not that good. You know what I mean?
I can definitely agree with that. Yeah, I was just having a conversation actually just yesterday with one of my friends because we're very different from the rest of our friends. We tell our kids everything, as in everything, just because I don't want later down the line my kid to be culture shocked or say that I was lying or say that mommy didn't fucking keep it real with her or whatever, you know? So I tell them everything. And we have all these friends that are the opposite of how me and you are speaking. They're just like, you know, but then you shatter their world too early or, you know, this, and that, and the third. And I'm like, but that's going to happen regardless. So you need to set them up right now.
Exactly.
You know?
Like I try to be very, okay. So like my husband, he be keeping it a little too fucking real with my kids.
Oh my God, same.
I gotta be like, Josh, tone the fuck down, bro.
Yep.
You gonna give them daddy issues. Like you need to stop right now.
Raise your hand if you have daddy issues.
Because
Our number one episode.
I know. That was our number one episode.
I legit told that my daughter, London, I told her just like that. I was like, baby, like, I'm glad you finally hit off the coach pitch, but why didn't you hit off the pitcher? I was like, but, you know, I'm glad what you did, but you're not where you're supposed to be. I know you could do better.
Way.
Yeah, I'm like, I know you could do better. But my husband be like, no, you fucking suck, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, babe, like, chill. Like, there is a balance.
I don't feel like I'm good enough anymore. I'm going to run away because that was me.
Yeah, seriously. I was telling that to act right too. I'm like, babe, just be nice, a little bit nice. Okay, he's like, what? I'm just fucking keeping it up.
That's how
I'm
my
like,
husband is.
Look, he said they'll. Oh shit, I'm not supposed to address the chat.
That's how my husband is, though. He's like, what? I'm just telling it how it is, and I'm like, you can.
There's a way to do it. Yeah, for
like
sure.
I keep it 100% real, but I don't say you fucking suck. I tell him they fucking suck.
Right.
But I don't tell because Josh would be like, well, how was practice? I'm like, she fucking sucked.
Yeah.
But I won't tell my
Heard
daughter.
that,
I'll just be like, you could do better. You need to do better. We need to practice more.
Agreed, 100%. Yeah. So where do you think, back to the subject, right?
Yeah.
Where do you think that stems from? Because we talk a lot here about like, you know, the reason why people are the way that they are. Do you think that your bossiness or your so-called bossiness comes from somewhere like?
Oh, 1,000%. I know where it came from. As a child and just my upbringing, I was I wasn't popular. I was very timid. I'm
surprised.
I don't want to say I was a nerd, but I wasn't cool. I wasn't a nerd, but I wasn't cool. I definitely had a lot of insecurities, so much insecurities, to the point where even when I entered like early adulthood in my early 20s, like maybe 20, 21, 22, I was still very timid and shy. But because I went through, I want to say like bullying. Yeah, because I went through bullying, once I finally got secure enough with my own skin, I was like, fuck that. I'm never gonna let anybody make me feel like I'm less than or I'm scared, because I was in the military. So right out of high school, I went into the Navy. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with being in the military, but once you enter, if you're not like an officer and you just go from the bottom, like shit rolls downhill. You're doing like all the shit work. And I so happen to be at a command where it was nothing but females.
What you do in the Navy?
I was a CT cryptologist.
See, you're a CT.
Yes.
Damn,
We're not gonna get into that. We're not gonna get into that yet. Okay. So the point is, I was at the bottom. Like I was at the bottom, right? And everybody else that was senior to me was female. And they just loved to make me feel like shit. And because I was in the military, I couldn't do anything, because I couldn't just be like, fuck you, I quit. I couldn't I had to deal with it. I had to serve my time. I was so depressed those 4 years. I went to like 90 pounds. And my average weight is 105, and I had dropped to 90 pounds. And I remember my parents visiting me and my mom being like, you're so skinny, you look sick. And I was sick mentally, but I didn't even know that I was depressed, until I finally saw a counselor, and they diagnosed me with major depression. And they were like, no, you're depressed. Because I didn't even know the signs. Like I literally would wake up, go to work, go back home, and go straight to sleep. Like I didn't have a life. I didn't even know that that's a sign of depression, is like you literally just sleep all day.
Away. Yeah.
Like, and then I would literally wake up 30 minutes before I had to go to work, brush my teeth, put my uniform on, and then come back home, eat, sleep. Like not like eat and hang out and chill at the house. Like no, I would just sleep. And I didn't even realize that those were signs of major depression, and lack of appetite and just losing all kinds of weight. And I just felt trapped because I was in such a miserable environment with these women that were senior to me that just hated on me. They just wanted my life to be like living hell, and they knew I couldn't do anything about it. And I tried so hard to get out of the military without getting like a dishonorable discharge, because I knew if I got a dishonorable discharge, it would fuck my life up in the long run if I wanted to have like a 9-to-5 job, a government job, even though I don't now, you know what I mean? But I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't know I was going to be a DJ. And so I just tried to make sure that I was going to be okay in the future. So I just did my 4 years that literally felt like 10 years. It felt like 10 years. And once I got out, I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna re-enlist, because they try to make you re-enlist. That's what the military does. They try to make it like, you're not gonna make it out there. You're not gonna have insurance. But I was so depressed. I was like, no, I cannot be here. For my mental health, I need to fucking leave. So I didn't care. I was scared because I didn't know what job I was going to get. But because I had an IT, like CT background, I was able to get a job right away as an IT. And instantly I had a job, and I just already started feeling better because I didn't have women degrading me, making me like feel less than them. And so that's why I'm all about uplifting other women, because I'm like, I'm never going to be one of those women.
Yeah,
I don't ever want to make another woman feel like I ruined her. You know what I mean? I'm all about uplifting and not degrading, and just supporting other women, especially not just women, but like everybody. If you ever go on my channel or TikTok, anything, I'm all about supporting other people, because I didn't have that support. And so because of that, that's made me very big on supporting one another, especially women. It also made me big on like being a boss, because I'm like, yeah, no one's going to talk to me like that again, because I had 4 long years of people talking down to me. And I'm like, that's not going to happen again, because life is short. And I'm like, I'll be damned if somebody makes me feel like that ever again.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's always the weird thing about having, I don't know if I could even say this right now, having female leadership. It's always like they have to always try to be more than the males.
Yes.
So like I've had like horrible chiefs, right? And they've all been females. And I'm like, I'm not gonna say anything.
No,
because I'll go into work like on Monday or something and be like,
We saw that podcast, motherfucker.
No, I've had some superiors in the different industries that I've worked at, and it seems like the meanest ones were the women, and feels like now that you're vocalizing all this, makes me think that, oh, they were just trying to like compensate for like, you know, like
100%.
Yeah. And I was like, damn, that sucks.
Well, I mean, we touched a little bit about this last week, right? That at the end of the day, so many women scream women empowerment, but the first person to tear another woman down is another fellow woman. I mean, what you said really resonated with me. That's the whole reason why I created the Be Uplifted podcast, because it started as Babes Uplifted. My whole brand wanted to be about uplifting other women. You know what I mean? So, but it's crazy because all these boss babes are like competing for this spot, but it's like there's room on the table for everyone to eat. You know what I mean?
Yes, and that's what I try to tell anybody, or like other DJs, because people have asked me like, oh, you're so helpful, and like you're not worried that like someone's gonna like take your gigs or your spot. And I'm like, no, because I know what I bring, and what I bring is different what they bring. Everybody has their own personality. Everybody has their own style. So if they like me, they're gonna keep booking me. If they like her or him, they're gonna keep booking them. But there's literally enough for everybody to shine. But I will say that is one of the reasons why I stopped doing a lot of in real life gigs, because I'm like, I really ain't with the political competitive bullshit, because like it's really political, especially like in San Diego. It's all about like who you know, whose ass you're gonna kiss, and I'm like, I ain't got time for that shit no more. One, I'm getting older, and I got 3 kids. Like that's my main focus is my family, you know. So I'm not gonna try to convince you why you need to book me. You know what I mean?
And I'm old too, because the only 11 o'clock I want to see is the one that says AM after it. I don't want to see 11 o'clock at night no more.
No,
I want to go to bed early.
I agree, and I mean, I love Twitch and TikTok and just like social media platforms for the simple fact that I can make my own schedule. I go on, I play what I want to play. You want to ride with me, we ride together. If you don't, you keep on scrolling. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I mean, it is a hustle because, you know, there's times where I won't make nothing. There's times where I'll make $10. There's times where I'll make $200. There's times where I'll make $600. Like you just don't know what you're gonna make. It is a legit hustle. Like I could go on for 3 hours and literally make nothing.
Right.
So it's definitely a hustle, but it's like at the end of the day, I did it on my time. Nobody had to yell at me, oh, play this, don't play that. You know what I mean? I don't have to worry about that bullshit. So
yeah, and I think that's what makes you more of the boss babe, because you built the brand. And I know when I watch your streams, you protect it.
Yeah,
you know, it's like your little child. Like, you know, you move in a way where it's all about protecting that brand. And I think when we talk about like the bossy babes, they're more or less like pretending to be the boss babe.
Exactly.
Or they just demand it without putting the work in.
Well, there's nothing
whatever.
there. There's no substance.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right? You haven't created anything, yet you want to be bossy. Mm-hmm. Like you want to pretend to be a boss babe, but who are you the boss of?
Well, and here's my thing. A boss babe, a true boss babe, wants to see other people win. Yeah. They will use their boss babe skills to help other people rise up, whereas a bossy person is only looking to serve themselves. They're just thinking about what can I take from you? What can I get out of this? Not how can I help the people around me? You know? So that's just my opinion. So
can a bossy bitch become a boss babe?
I mean, like I said, I feel like I'm both, because there are times where I can be very, you know, I don't want to say insensitive, but like.
Have you ever tried to set up a studio for her?
But I mean, okay, all I'm saying is like, I know what I like, and I'm like, dude, and I know not even just what I like, because if I show you what looks good for me, it's gonna look good for her, it's gonna look good for him, it's gonna look for everyone. So it's more like, because I've been doing this for a long time, I know what angles it is. That's why I'm like, no, bro, we gotta do it like this. No, we gotta do it like this. Okay, we gotta do it like this. And I will say something that I try to work on is maybe I need to add, please.
That's the first time I've ever heard you say that.
Maybe I gotta, big of you. Maybe I gotta just say it.
Clip that, guys.
Maybe I gotta say it in a nicer voice. But it's because I'm so used to
being a mom
that I'm like, come on, I don't got time for this. Let's do this. Let's do that. Let's do this. But I do have to be like, okay, that came off kind of rude when I wasn't trying to come off that way. And sometimes even with me, guys, I overthink things. Like I'll leave or I get off the phone and I'm like, damn, did I say that fucking rude? Like I didn't mean it like that. And then I start like beating myself up about it, because I'm like, fuck, I didn't mean it like that. But I mean,
it's part of the process. Everything that you're saying hella like resonates within me too, because you know, I DJ too, but more I'm running the business. So I'm doing event planning. I'm making sure that my clients are taken care of. I'm doing like a bunch of shit, right? So even when my team, they see me like set everything up, they're like, fuck, you got this face, like don't fucking talk to you. Don't like fucking tell me wrong. Like I want to make sure I get shit done right. But that's because how much pressure we put on ourselves to make sure it's like perfect, right?
Exactly.
So when you ask that question, like, can a boss or a bossy bitch be a boss babe? It's like, I feel like it has to go hand in hand.
Yes.
Because if you're being bossy, then you know what the fuck you want at the end of the, like what your end product is gonna be.
Yes.
And if you don't, then it's like you're just running blind.
Yes.
Then how do you know what your end goal is gonna be?
I almost feel like bossiness, like you said, it's required to become a boss babe, but in addition to that, there's a way to carry yourself still kindly with respect and things like that.
Right.
Like she said, she can say please sometimes, so those are things to also keep in mind.
I mean, I will always say thank you. I'm
See, so that's good.
She does always say thank you,
I'm
yeah.
really good at saying thank you at the end when everything's done. I'm like, okay, thank you so much. Thank you. I love you. Like I'm great at that. It's just me like
when you're going
when
through
me
it.
directing it and going through it, and it's because I'm always
It's
on a time
understandable.
crunch too. I'm
Right.
always on a time crunch. I'm like, no, come on, let's go, let's do this. Oh no, we got to do this. No. And so it's like I don't.
When she said military, it made sense to me.
Yeah.
It made sense to me.
Like, let's
Well,
do
not
this.
only that, I grew up in a military household, so my dad's a retired Master Chief. So my dad still has that Master Chief like mentality. So even with my dad, even now, it's like I'm still talking to a Master Chief, and so it's like I've grown up that way. And
Yeah.
so, like I said, it's just like
It's in you.
It's in
who
me.
you are.
It's who I
Right.
am.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah, I get that too. People are saying sometimes I'm like too direct, but sometimes it's like there's a thing where I say I'm not yelling really. I'm just talking loud enough so everybody else can hear, so I don't have to repeat my fucking self.
Assertive.
But you know what? I'm also very open with communication where I'm like, you're being rude. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
where I'm like, are you being rude or are we like, I'm really good at like, okay, you're being kind of an asshole right now. Where I'm like, okay, is this who you are or is this you?
Is there something going
yeah,
on
or is
here?
there are you
Yeah.
upset at me? Like I'm very good with open communication. And I'm good at feeling out the vibes like, oh, this person's just stressed out. Like they got a lot of shit going on. You know what I mean? So I also try not to get sensitive. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? When someone is maybe being bossy towards me, I'll be like, okay, what's happening here? I try not to take anything to heart because I have some friends, I'm not going to mention names, where I'm like, you're being really sensitive right now. And like what the fuck? Like, why are we being sensitive right now?
Don't worry, we have Q&A in a couple minutes. So,
I'm like, and then
if somebody pops into the chat,
and then I gotta be like, are you upset at me? Like I didn't mean it that way. But then I will address it. I'll be like, what? Like, did I offend you? Did I make you mad? Like, let's talk about it. But then I'll also be like, you're being really sensitive right now. You know, this is my character. I'm not coming out of character right now.
Yeah.
You know. So I feel like open communication and knowing who you're
Yes.
around and who those people are. Like, okay, that's just them. And this is one of my problems is because I'm like that. I expect people like that to be. I expect people to be like
Same
that with
energy.
me. Like I want them to know, like, oh, that's just Party. Like that's just who she is. You know what I mean? I don't want them to be like, no, Party's being a fucking bitch right now. You know what I mean? Unless I am being a fucking bitch right now. Like there's a difference.
Call me out.
Unless I am purposely being a bitch.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Where I know I'm purposely being one. Like I want us to have an open communication. I want you to let me know if I hurt you or offended you in any type of way because I know I'm quick to be like, what's going on? What's happening here? You know?
Yeah.
So being a boss babe that's put yourself out on social media, what do you say is one of the biggest challenges that you've had to face?
Trolls. 1000% is trolls. And one thing that I give anybody advice on when they're trying to be a content creator or they're trying to go viral, they're trying to be some type of TikTok, Instagram, Twitch famous, I'm like, look, there's going to be trolls regardless, you could be the nicest, sweetest, like whatever, it doesn't matter. Like there's going to be somebody that is so unhappy with themselves
Yep.
that they just want to ruin your day.
We've all experienced
Clip
that on
that
here.
shit.
Ruin your emotion. And you have to be so strong.
Yep.
You have to be so strong because I've seen not even just me, but I've seen so many content creators cry, post videos, go on live crying about a troll. And I'm like,
Don't even give them that fucking time of day.
but then I get it though, because sometimes I'll go through that and I'm like, yeah, damn, fuck that. So my thing is, you gotta have thick skin. 1000%. You have to have thick skin, and you have to just not read comments. Like, I don't read comments. Like, I legit, like, if my videos are going viral on TikTok, I don't fucking read the comments. Sometimes I'll see some, and then if I see that there's like, it's going down a troll thread, then I'm like, yeah, I'm not even gonna read that shit.
Yep.
I don't even read it. I'm like, you can continue to make my shit go viral. You can continue to leave the fucking troll comments so I can get paid, get more views, but I am not going to waste my energy. And there are times where I'm like, nah, fuck that bitch. And I start fucking typing away. And then I realize like, delete. Then I realize like, you just fucking pissed me off. Like, and I should not let you get me like that. Because I don't fucking know you. You really don't know me. You don't pay my bills. Fuck you. You're probably miserable.
Right.
Anyways, so now when I do read a comment and I want to
clap back.
I want to clap back. I want to attack. I want to bang bang. I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to pray for you. I'm going to pray for your healing. I'm going to pray for your trauma, because clearly that's what it stems from. Because if I've never once scrolled and saw some shit that I didn't like and be like, yeah, fuck you, bitch. Like, you're fucking this and you're fucking ugly.
You're talking to the choir,
you're
girl.
You're a fucking hoe. You ain't shit. Like, I might have thought it in my head, but
She's all typing it with her middle finger too.
I would never like waste my energy to bring you down.
Right.
You know what I mean? Even if I didn't agree with whatever the fuck you posted, I'd just been like, okay, bitch. Like, and then I would have just kept scrolling.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So when you know somebody took their time to write some shit on your fucking post, it's trauma. They're miserable. They're unhappy. Then that's what it boils down to. Because not one happy person would ever leave a negative comment on your shit that didn't know you. Not one person that is happy and content with their lives would leave some negative shit on somebody they didn't know.
Or you could just beat them to the punch. I've been calling myself a potato ever since day one.
Someone that's not a potato at all.
Yeah.
I'm a potato.
But yeah, that's my number one advice, guys. Like, have thick skin. Don't read comments. If you do, just let it go. Let it go.
Yeah,
don't ever take it personal.
Just remember, you're doing it for you.
Yeah.
You know?
And also, if you strategize to attract trolls, then it's part of the plan.
Yep.
Yeah.
That part.
That's because that's what we do.
So I want to know the male's perspective on the difference between a boss babe and a bossy babe, because you guys tend to be like, well, she's fucking bossy. Like, what do you guys think is like acceptable? And you're like, you know what? She's cool, but she's just a boss babe.
Oh, I'm saying there has to be substance behind it. Like, I can actually tell when somebody is a boss babe because they've created a kingdom.
So
right?
would you let that boss babe boss you around since she does have substance? Would you let her do that?
But she's not bossing you around. There's a difference.
No, because we just said that, you know, as a boss babe, you tend to be bossy. You guide shit.
You tend to be bossy, but that's from a different perspective. I look at it as she has a plan that she needs done, and she's telling me directly what needs to be done, and I'm going to do it.
So you respect it.
I respect it because there's a plan behind it.
Got it.
But if you're simply just being bossy, but you have no net worth,
like, wash my car, motherfucker.
Yeah, right.
you know, like what the why are you bossing me around?
Right. Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
What about you?
I can't describe what a boss babe is, to be honest with you. Maybe just I know what a boss babe is, but I can't. It's a purple moment for me.
Okay.
You know, and purple moments for me is like I know what the color purple is, but I can't describe it. Makes sense. Okay. So I know that. I do know what a bossy babe is when she tells me what to do without deserving it being done for her.
I like that. I do like that.
True.
I do like that. Mm-hmm.
I can agree with that.
Is that enough?
I know.
Yes, we can clip that. That is clip worthy.
Yeah, I know for sure.
All right.
How did you feel like you found your path on being a boss babe?
You know, I know my husband would agree to this. My husband is the breadwinner, okay? And he's a great provider. That's one thing about my husband I will give him. He's an amazing provider. He works hard for his family. But he also knows I'm about somebody that will get shit done. Like regardless if he can do it or not, I'm gonna fucking make it happen. Anytime I said I was gonna do something, I fucking did it.
That's true.
I did it with or without him. You know what I mean? And I mean he's my number one fan, my number one supporter. He's the one that bought me. Like, I bought used stuff off Craigslist, pawn shops. He bought me everything brand new and was like, no, we're going to do this the right way. So he's always been like a huge supporter in anything that I wanted to do. But he knows that I will make shit happen if I needed to make it happen. And so that's when I've realized like I am a boss babe because
you make shit happen.
I make shit happen regardless if he can contribute or not. I'm gonna make this shit happen.
Can we go back because my mind works slowly and I kind of I kind of understand I kind of understand the whole boss babe versus bossy bitch. If we take the word boss, if you call yourself a boss more than other people call you that, you're bossy.
Yeah.
If more people call you boss than you ask them to, you're a boss babe.
Like you basically can't wear the shirt, boss babe.
Right.
Yeah.
That's actually very
Yeah,
good.
you
point.
can't
That's
you
true.
can't brand yourself. That's not.
Yeah, that's true
not-
because I would never tell anybody else I'm a fucking boss. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Right.
But I do tell myself this is when I need that pep talk. You know what I
Right,
mean? When
right.
I'm having my moment
Self-affirmation.
yeah, or even if I feel like I'm failing at anything. Like if I could be very honest and transparent, I feel like I fail in motherhood multiple times a day. You know what I mean? Or like just me just feeling like, damn, what the fuck, you know, about myself, feeling like insecure about certain things in my life. I'll have to remind myself like, no, you're a fucking boss. You got this. Like we can do this. And that's something that I instill in my, not just my kids, but my daughters especially. I'm like, no, you can do this. I know you can do this. You know what I mean? It's me just
And you just
instilling.
leaving Ryder out of this?
I said especially women, okay?
Especially
Like my son definitely needs to man the fuck up though, for real though. I'm like, we bosses in the house, so I need you to man the fuck up. Like, so
None of
that's
that
something I need to
crybaby
work
shit.
on. Yeah, I need to work on that.
Damn it, Ryder, do some push-ups.
My son is definitely on the mama's boy side where I'm like, shit, like we need to put you in jiu-jitsu because you being a little fucking bitch right now, bro. And I'll be damned if my son grows up to be a little bitch. Like, no, I can't have more balls than you. And let me tell you, no, I'm being dead ass serious because an incident happened this past Friday where it was like a major red flag for me where I was like, okay, we need to change something. We need to do it real quick. My son is the baby because I got 2 girls and my son's the baby. He's 4 years old. He's going to be 5 in December. We were out playing at a football game and he ran up to me screaming like he was terrified. And I was like, what's happening? What's going on? And I noticed there was like another boy bigger than him kind of behind him. And I was like, what's happening? What's wrong? And he was so terrified. He couldn't speak. He was like shaking. And then finally I was like, was that boy chasing you? And he was like, yes. And I was like, okay, hold on. So I walked down to where this boy was and his mom. Okay, this boy is definitely much bigger. He was probably like 7 years old. My son's four. Okay, and he's with his mom. The boy's with his mom at this point. And I go up to him and his mom. I'm like, "Were you chasing my son?" And I'm looking at the mom and I'm looking at him, and she's like, "No." And I looked at him like, "You weren't chasing him because he's screaming up there, and I just want to know why. I just want to make sure you weren't chasing him." And he was like, "No." And I was like, "Okay, thank you." And then I went back up to him and I'm like, I think, because what happened was he was running and he looked back and he saw a big boy running behind him.
Thinking he
so
was
he
being
thought he was getting chased by this big boy. So, and I spoke to the mom, but first of all, the mom, like the fact that she straight up was like, no. I was like, bitch, hold up. I ain't the fucking one right now. You know, because if someone would have came up to me, I would have been like, what is happening? Were you fucking chasing him? Like I would have corrected it real quick. I wouldn't just be like, no, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? I'd been like, well, were you Ryder? What's happening? You know what I mean? I would have addressed it right then and there. Because I also don't raise no fucking bullies in this house, you know? So anyways, I go up to him and I'm like, Ryder, he wasn't chasing you. I think you thought that because he was bigger and he was running behind you. But I guarantee if you would have stopped, he would have kept running.
Right.
And he was so scared though. And I was like, it's okay. And this is one thing that I am continuing to tell him over and over. I'm like, it is okay to be scared, but you got to be brave. You can be scared, but you got to be brave and you got to face it no matter how big somebody was. And he was like, but he was so big. And I'm like, I get it. But look at his mom. She's way bigger than me. And I went up to her anyways. And I was like, was your son chasing my son? And she said no. But, you know, she could have hit me.
Right.
She could have got up and punched me. But I was brave enough to go up and be like, nah, what's going on? You know what I mean? And he was like, yeah, Mom, you're right. And I'm like, exactly.
That reminds me of one of your TikToks. It was trending where you're like, get ready. I'm gonna go fight this.
Oh,
this mom."
yes.
So wait, what was Ryder's response to that?
I don't remember.
Because I thought he was down.
No, I don't think
He
he
wasn't
was
down?
I don't think he was. No, I think he said you need to pray.
Call the police.
No, he said you need to pray. I was like, I'm about to go fight somebody. I need you to help me put your shoes on. And he was like, Mom, fighting is bad. You need to pray. So that was his response. But anyway, what happened on Friday was a major red flag to me. And I was like, no. Because, and then I told him, I was like, I will not be there your whole life. Mm-hmm. I will always try to be there as much as I can, but you got to fight your own battles. Like I can't, I mean, I will, but I need you to not even be able to like come to me. I need you to be able to stop dead in your tracks and be like, stop. Or like, face it. Don't chase me. Do whatever you got to do. You know what I'm saying?
Kids are soft nowadays, too.
They're so soft. And that's why I'm like, no. And that's why I called my husband instantly. I'm like, jujitsu ASAP. Because this boy was screaming like no tomorrow. And that is not okay because he's a boy. He is a boy.
Yeah, my son actually experienced the same thing. He's in kindergarten. It's his first time being in like real school. And he comes up to me and he's like, Mommy, there's a boy named Jonathan in my class and he's calling me names. And, you know, obviously Mama Bear comes out and I'm like, okay, who's this Jonathan? You know, whatever. And he's just like, I'm like, so what'd you do? Nothing. And the next day, Mommy, Jonathan pushed me. Okay, so what'd you do? And he's like, nothing. I just cried. And I was like, listen. So I had to have a talk with him. You know, I'm like, you don't ever start shit, but you finish shit. That's what I told him. I'm like, don't ever start a fight. So I tell all my kids that. My girls, they've all come home crying from a bully before. And now they're different because I've instilled the same thing. I'm like, that's so funny that you say that because I say that to my kids too. You can be scared, but you have to be brave.
Yes.
You have to be strong because people are always going to fuck with you.
Yes.
Like they're always going to. So I 100% agree with everything that you just said right now because I be teaching my kids the same thing. And it's because everyone is so fucking soft, you know? And I tell them too, if you let them get away with it, that's why they're going to bully the next person.
1,000%.
You know?
And that's what I'm like, it don't matter how big, how strong somebody is. Usually somebody that is so big, their bark, you know, like you already know. I told my son all the time, I'm like, it don't matter if you're so small and you stand up to them, they're gonna be shocked. Right? They're gonna be scared. They're gonna be like, oh shit,
this must be a crazy person.
Shit. This is the first time someone stepped up to me. Like, hold the fuck up.
Right.
So I have a story time, but really quick because we want to be respectful for your schedule, and I know that you're on a time crunch.
Exactly.
I'm gonna say that we're gonna open it up for Q&A, and then we'll get to them after my story time. God damn it! All right.
All right.
Okay.
Go.
Okay. So check this out. My daughter, when she was in...
You pushed her down the stairs? We've heard this already.
Yeah, I kicked her down the stairs. That made her strong.
Wow.
No, okay. So when she was, I think, in first grade, she was telling me, Dad, there's this girl that's bothering me. I said, well, what is she doing? She says, she calls me names. And I said, okay, well, tell the teacher. You know, I don't want you to fight. And she's all like, okay. So later on that week, she said, Dad, she's still doing it. I said, well, what did the teacher say? She said, well, nothing. And I said, okay, well, you have to do something about it. My idea of that, tell another teacher, tell the principal, right? No.
See where this is
So
going.
she's in the bathroom, right? It's recess. She's in the bathroom. She's going pee. And that girl starts hitting the door. I know you're in there. So she's just like, okay. She gets done. Gets the toilet paper. Dips it in the bowl, opens up the door, and throws it in the girl's face. My ex-wife calls me. What did you tell our daughter to do? The principal's on the phone with me. My daughter, I went to the school. They told me they told me the story, and then she said, Dad, you told me to do something about it. I said, well, she already said something to you guys. You didn't do shit.
Yep.
Yeah, that part.
So I had my daughter's back, you know? And then
part.
she was crying.
That's definitely your kid.
She was
Let me
hella,
take this pee.
yeah, she was hella crying, and then I brought her to McDonald's. I said, I am so proud of you.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
you did the right thing first, and then you finished it.
Yes.
Exactly.
So, you know,
And that's how it
So,
should be.
yeah.
It's like you try to warn the motherfucker, and
Yeah.
if they don't fucking get it, then you need to show
Fuck
them.
around and find out.
That part.
Fuck around
that
and find
part.
out.
Exactly.
I was taught wrong. I hit first before anything.
no, I
Oh,
was,
did you? My dad used to say, no, you hit him first. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, but I'm down too. Because like
Yeah.
anytime you call me and you say, oh, I need something, I'm like, I got a shovel. Where are we burying this body? Yeah.
You need people like that. You need. Well,
No,
thank you guys
I
for
love-
having me. This was fun. This was like a fun, fast hour, man.
Yeah.
you should come back.
I'm surprised
I know,
that
I
it went
will.
through so fast.
It did. I mean,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
we were having such a good time, you know.
It's always fun.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for making time for our show. We appreciate
Yes.
you.
I definitely would love to come back. More topics.
Yes.
Yeah.
Topics.
And for those who want to like follow you and all that, you go ahead and restate your platforms.
All my platforms are the same name. I try to make it simple for everybody. Party like a mother. Party like a mother. Party like a mother. Yeah, you can find me on all platforms, same name. And I also want to give that advice to everybody else. Like, have the same fucking name, guys. Don't be extra and have like 5 different
20
fucking
different
names. Okay, let's
mad
have
at me.
one fucking name, okay? Because I mean, honestly, it's easier for people to follow when it's the same name. You know what I'm saying? You have all these different fucking names, and it's like, okay, well, I don't
Should
know
I
if that's
just keep
really
my
them.
FBI account then?
Well, yeah. Well, at this point, keep all your fucking accounts,
Yeah.
Vince. Okay, at this point.
Nicole was so mad at me when I posted as the FBI Twitch division.
It's funny.
She was so mad.
You guys should definitely try to have her on this show too. She would love it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
She was
You guys can both come
she
on.
was one of the ones that were following us from before.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, Nicole Knight?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I was like, you know who we are? She's like, yeah.
Thank you, Lisa Marie. BB Joy, hello.
ABV Joy.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much again for being on this episode. And if you guys want to follow us, of course, make sure you follow all our social medias and all our audio platforms. And we will see you guys on the next one. Bye.
Bye.